Hey, welcome to the Cheers to Freedom podcast. I am Josh Taylor, and I am with my co-host, Levi McClendon. Levi, how are you?
Doing really well today, Josh. It's a little cold to be out on my porch, so I had to kind of reset up here in my bedroom.
You had to rearrange the whole house just so you could record a podcast inside.
A little chilly, even though I'm in Florida, down to about 34 today. So yeah, got to be inside.
It's chilly. Well, hey, it was a big weekend for us. We launched our first websites, and we want to talk about that today.
Yeah, super fun, and really excited to be launching these sites and getting into. We've looked at them for a long time, and obviously bringing you on board, Josh, has been really good for us because you have built hundreds of websites. You follow the Don Miller building a story brand kind of guideline on how to communicate through sites, and a lot of times, the more that I read, the more I see, the more, of course, it becomes evident to me that everyone's usually, it's like, ooh, I just want a really, bright and fun and flashy and, website. But what we find out, Josh, is that doesn't really sell, does it?
Yeah. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that they'll read the StoryBrand book, or they've gone to the workshop or something like that. I mean, I've been doing this for 5 years just with the StoryBrand framework. And there have been so many people that come to me and say, I just spent $20,000-$30,000 on our website, and I feel like we've got to redo it again now that I understand how people navigate websites.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've actually done that. We've had a couple of our customers just have websites built, and once they kind of see the framework and how it should be laid out and what the messaging should be, they've actually had us redo those sites. And it's interesting, Josh, I didn't want to get too often into the weeds in this, but even for OpSpot and what we do, it's about messaging, marketing, communicating, and I've not really wanted to go down that whole website or digital presence, things like that. But this is so important, and it's so evident that you've got to tie together your digital, your online presence with your on-site presence, and that messaging needs to flow. So we're really excited, for us to be able to offer this as a service. But today's conversation is going to be more about, it's not about ops. So it's fun. We're going to be able to look at some websites that were done previous to you getting a hold of them. And then because we've launched those websites, we wanted to be able to share those with the viewers that are watching this. And even if not, those that are just listening, will be able to hopefully give you a little description to be able to educate you a little bit on what websites should actually do as far as selling, and they shouldn't really be there. We talked about to cancel memberships, right? Like some of our customers, like that's your main call to action. And we'll talk about a CTA, which is a call to action, here in a second. But Josh, I want to, we're flipping the roles a little bit. Usually you're kind of hosting and asking some questions and let me kind of ramble on as I do. But today we're going to flip the script, and I'm going to ask you. You're the expert in this space. You've done it a very long time, and we're just going to kind of walk down. There's 5 things that Don Miller really hones in on, and he's big time about it, that need to be included in a website. Okay, yep. So I'm going to run through those, and then I'm going to let you, of course, show. You're gonna be able to show some of the, like I said, the old websites and new websites, and explain what what you do, why you do what you do. All right. So
okay.
Sound good to you?
Sounds good.
All right. Well, let's do this. So 5 things that need to be included. First of all, an offer, we're going to talk number 1, an offer above the fold. So what does it mean to have an offer above the fold, Josh?
So the idea above the fold comes from newspapers. People used to read those things, and we used to get them delivered, on our.
Say, what's a newspaper?
Yeah. Usually it would end up on our front lawn or through the window or something every day. And we would pick that up. Above the fold is really, it would be the first thing that when you opened up that newspaper, before you got down below that first crease, where the fold was, it would be the most important thing. So this is the number one thing that's happening in the world. It's the number one thing that newspaper wants you to read. The headline is captivating, the story is captivating, and really sets the pace for what you're going to read in the rest of that newspaper that day. So that's where above the fold comes from. On your website, it's the very first thing that they come to before they have to start scrolling on your website.
All right, awesome. And what's the time frame when I go to somebody's site? Typically, how long do you have to capture their attention
Yeah.
before they bounce.
So there's a lot of back and forth on what that actually is. Honestly, it's somewhere in between 5 and 10 seconds. They need to be able, and really they need to be able to answer 3 questions within 10 seconds of visiting your website. What do you do? What do you want me to do? What action do you want me to take? And what's in it for me? Those are the 3 questions. We'll talk more about those in a minute, but within 10 seconds, they really need to be able to answer those 3 questions.
And Don refers to sometimes that as when somebody's looking at a website, it passes the grunt test as well. So tell me, what is the grunt test?
So he likens it to like a caveman. If a caveman went to your website, could he grunt through your website and be able to tell back, here's what you do, here's who you are, here's the reason I should buy from you. So the grunt test is, can a caveman grunt through your website and understand what it is?
Another author that I follow that I like is Russell Brunson, and he talks about 3 things. Well, a lot more than 3 things, but something that I always kind of refer back to in your call to action, and above that fold is going to be a hook, story, offer, right? Everything that you do should have a hook, story, offer. And I think that really applies to websites. Like, what's the hook? What do you do? Which is really, what do you do? What is the story behind it? Now you can do some bullets there, and then here's your offer. And I think that offer, we call it a CTA, right? The call to action. What is that offer? And that should also be above the fold, which actually brings me to my second point here, which is point number 2 is the obvious calls to action. Okay, that's number 2 in this. So explain, number 1, a call to action, and what action is it that we want people to do, especially when they're going to a site. And give me a little background, Josh, on how do people read websites? And so where is it important to put that call to action?
Yeah. So your call to action is the button that people click that makes you money on your website. And for a lot of people, their call to action ends up being the contact link, or it ends up being their Facebook links or something like that, because it's in the right-hand side of their website. Now, the top right of your website is the most valuable real estate on your website. It's usually the first place that the eyes are drawn to. What people will read your website in a zigzag motion. So they'll start on the left side where your logo is, but immediately their eyes are going to go over to the right, and then they're going to come back down across to the bottom to the left-hand side of that hero banner, and then back over to the right. So it's like a Z. They're making a Z motion as they read your website. And so your call to action, in fact, I'm going to share my screen here just because it's a lot easier. I'm a visual person, so it's easier for me to see it. And
yeah, and I want you to show, obviously, show us like what a good above the fold, and so we'll be able to talk about both above the fold and the call to action here. So this is a website, Marvel Car Wash, a customer of ours.
Yeah, this is one that we just launched. And yeah, so above the fold obviously is everything that I can see right now before I begin scrolling on your website. So again, we go back to those 3 questions that need to be answered. That needs to be all answered on this screen right here before I ever start scrolling on your website. What do you do? What action do you want me to take? Which is your call to action, and what's in it for me. So they're going to start here at the logo, and then they're going to immediately go over here. And this is where we've got this boxed in button. The reason why this is so important is we box in this button on the top right of your website where it says get your free wash. We want it to look different than the rest of your menu. Now, most websites will look like, and I'm going to show Marvel's old site here, and we'll kind of jump back and forth between these two. We'll talk about what just happened there in a second too. But you see, all of their menu items look the same. Right here, we've got home, we've got services, we've got about us, contact, and fundraising. So the main call to action that we're technically telling people we want them to click, the most important button on this menu is fundraising. And I would say that Marvel would probably agree that's not the most important thing that they want their customers to do. The most important thing we want them to do is get your free wash. And we're going to tell you why in just a few minutes of why that's the most important thing we want them to do. But then they're going to come back across here like a Z, and then they're going to hit that again. They're going to read your car wash experience should make you happy. We'll tell you why we chose those words in a few minutes too. But that's how they're looking at your website. They're starting here on the left. They see your logo. They're immediately jumping over here. This is the obvious button to push, and they're going to see it again right here in the middle of the screen.
Well, and it's clear what they do. It's and you can tell right there, your car wash experience should make you happy, right? So clearly, this is a car wash. It even says it in their logo, Marvel Car Wash, super simple. And you have to think about two audiences, I believe, Josh. You have people that are searching for a car wash in your area, but you also have existing car wash unlimited wash club members, people like that. You can see at the top right there, I know the standout should be the get your free wash, because for the newbies, for the prospects, for those that are out searching for a car wash in your area, this is a great way to get them to come to your wash. And again, we'll explain that in a second. But also you can see the Manage My Plan page, which if you were to go to any website, if you're a member of any type of club, subscription, whatever it is, my eyes immediately, Josh, if I'm already a member there, where do I go? Top right-hand side usually says log in this case, Manage My Plan, and you're going to be able to access your account there. So why make people think too much about it, right? You want them to easily be able to get in, manage their plan, update their card, things like that. Will you go back to Marvel's? The other thing I wanted to point out above the fold here is they have a slideshow, Josh. Tell me what a slideshow is, and do you recommend them or not?
So yeah, you see how the screen is moving. I don't recommend them, and for a couple of reasons. One, it's very distracting. When we build a website, we want to control the experience that the customer has. And that means we want to control the narrative. We want to control what they see. We want to control what they do. And so this basically takes that out of control. I want them to click on get your free wash. When I'm seeing this scrolling side, I can't read all the words before it switches to the next screen. So I see the Marvel difference, find out what makes Marvel Car Wash superior to other, and then I couldn't finish it and didn't have time to click the button. Unlimited fast pass, get in your vehicle. And obviously that's very hard to read because the images and the copy kind of blend in together as well. And so there's so many different calls to action here. There's get directions, and we'll talk about that image in just a second. And then there's find out more. It's hard to read that one. Find out more about what. We love to be green, and then I can't read the rest of that because it blends in with the picture. So, the scroll, and I can't control the copy that my customers are reading, and people buy things after they read the words that make them want to buy it. The problem is on a slideshow like this, they can't read the words, and they're reading so many words that they're not sure what to do with it or which action to take because there's so many different calls to action.
Well, you're making me burn calories here, right? I can't even read this, so I'm not going to read it, and I'm going to bounce, and I'm not going to be able to take advantage of any type of call to action. Speaking of that, one of those slides just said learn more. This one says about us. There's where's the one that says view view services. I think go to the next one here. A lot of the call to action, go to one more to the right. It's about unlimited washes, right? And it said find, like this one here, find out more or learn more. What is a good in a call to action? Let's go back to their other page. What are good, let's say, headers or taglines for the actual call to action, and why?
What you want people to do is to know when they click on that button, they know what's going to happen. It's telling them what's going to happen. So when you click on this button, you're going to get your free wash. When you click on this link, you're going to be able to manage your plan. Locations right here, it's going to show you the different locations. When we scroll down here, we've got the unlimited wash. You can sign up now here. Join the unlimited club. When I click on that button, I know I'm going to be able to join the unlimited club. We want to be very clear. So we use vague call to actions like learn more or find out more or something like that. And people don't know what's going to happen. Learn more about what, get started is another one. Get started doing what? We want people to know, we want to do all the thinking for them. In other words, we want to burn the calories for them so they don't
for them. And in the word get, apparently studies will show that and test results show that the word get is a pretty good word to use when you are doing something. Instead of just free wash there, we're telling them get your free wash, which is a great call to action.
We've tested that on a few sites, and we've noticed that when we just replaced the word do or buy or something like that and changed it to the word get, it had a 30% increase in engagement.
Awesome. All right. So that's obvious calls to action. Let's go to our third point here, which is images of success.
Yeah.
So what does images of success look like?
So when we're writing copy and we're using images, we want people to read it and look at the images and say, that's how I want to feel. We want to give people a vision of what life could be like. And so when they use your car wash, what are they going to experience? We're not selling a building. We're not selling a car, but so many people use just pictures of that. They use their building. I think it's great to have pictures of your building on your website. I don't necessarily think it needs to be in the hero image unless it has something to do with your customer. And so with Marvel, we chose this picture here of this happy couple. They do dog washes as well. And so we've got the dog in here. Now, we went back and forth a lot with this image, probably more than any of the other websites, because there were a few different opinions on it. So I want to show you the images that we had, the other options, and why we landed on this one. So this was the original one that we had up here. I liked it. Somebody pointed out that maybe the focus was too much on the wash. You may agree, or the watch. You may agree or disagree with that. I understand what they were saying, but the point we chose this one is there's a smiling guy, drying off his car. He's happy. This is the experience we want to have. And then this was an image that was given to us to possibly use. The reason I don't like this one is, one, the girl's smile is covered up with her hand and her eyes are closed.
I'm not sure that's a smile. I'm not quite.
It almost looks like she's sick.
Bit into a lemon.
Yeah, it almost looks like she's sick, but I think it's smiling. Now, this next image is one that we see on a lot of websites with car washes, and it's just a picture of a car. Now, when you read your car wash experience should make you happy, and you look at that image, does it look like they belong together? No. Yeah, the image and the copy should complement one another. And so we went with we had this one as an option. Again, the girl's eyes are closed. I think we're getting closer to where we want to be, though. She looks happy. She looks excited. She just got in her car. This is how we want people to feel when they get in their car after they've gone through the car wash. And then we landed on this one. This is a couple with their dog. They're happy. This is the experience that we want people to feel when they get in their clean car. Does that make sense?
Well, let's touch, and Josh, let's touch base on make you happy. This whole happy message that we have going on here. So part of you building the website and part of us, discussing this, it's about copy, it's about messaging, and we talk constantly about making our customer the hero, not ourselves, right?
Right.
So clearly the call to action, well, not the call to actions free wash, but the messaging here is your car wash experience should make you happy.
Yeah.
A lot of people focus on, of course, the car, the clean car, which is kind of the expected. Touch base on how we landed on, we don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but why we're so focused on happy here.
Yeah. So the whole premise and the big idea behind the StoryBrand framework is to make your customer the hero of the story. Everybody wakes up as the hero in their own story. We're not looking for more heroes in our story. We're looking for guides. We're looking for people to help us win the day, to help us accomplish the vision for our life that we want to accomplish. Well, people want to be happy. And so with Marvel Car Wash, and we did a 2-day on-site with them, and they really can deliver on this promise. They work hard to deliver on this promise. This is ingrained in their culture. They want people to leave with a smile, and they actually have implemented things, and we won't get into the details of what they do, but we landed on this because they can actually deliver on this. They want people to be happy when they leave. When we see a lot of websites, and in fact, if you look at Marvel's old website, you can see some of it. The Marvel difference. Find out what makes, didn't have time to read it. Find out what makes Marvel Car Wash superior to other car washes. Who's the hero in that story?
About us.
Yeah, Marvel is the hero in the story. So we wanted it to be about the customer. And so your messaging, your website should talk about your customer and how you can help your customer win the day, not you being the best car wash in the city. And we see that. We see that whether it's in car wash industry or any other industry, people always say they're the best. Well, I don't believe that you're the best. And I'm not going to believe that you're the best until I experience you being the best.
Right.
And even then, I'm not looking for solutions to external problems. Businesses sell solutions to external problems, but customers are buying solutions to their internal problems. If you can get rid of the bad feelings that I have, whether it's the inconvenience of going to a car wash, you can make it more convenient for me, or the frustration that I experience when I go to some places and the customer service is bad, or my car doesn't get very clean, or whatever it is. I'm looking for you to get rid of internal feelings. I'm not buying a clean car. I'm really buying an experience that leaves me feeling better. So how do you speak to your customers' feelings? How do you speak to their internal problems? And how do you make your messaging on your website about your customer and not about your car wash?
Well, and I think, Josh, this is a good way, like here are call to actions, get your free wash. And you said we'd talk about that in a second. So I'm going to bring that up. And so our philosophy is, listen, stop selling and start smiling, right? So when you're on site, when customers come through, you're not selling you're not giving away a free wash. You're giving away an opportunity to make a difference. You're
Right.
giving away an experience. So when they come there, your main focus is to to make that customer's experience that day be the best, no matter where they've gone, what they've done that day. It's the best experience they've had. So if you can train your staff, your people, when people come into our wash, I'm not selling them on unlimiteds. You're answering questions, but that's not the lead. The lead is,
Right.
how is your day? How are you doing? What can I do for you? Then you get into, oh, by the way, I see you come here often. Did you know you could save money by going unlimited? Things like that. And
Yeah.
I think that's what really makes a difference. So again, that call to action is the free wash. And a lot of people, I don't want to give away free washes or whatever, but that's how you get people in to
Yeah.
experience such the amazing car wash that you have. And when that's your focus, you actually are making a difference in your
Yeah.
customers' lives.
Yeah. Well, the reality is you're not the only car wash in your city for most of you that are listening or watching this. So you've got to separate yourself from the competition. And the way that you do that is speaking to your customers' internal problems. This is one that we launched last week as well, the Better Wash. And again, you see the messaging focuses on the customer. You deserve a clean car fast. That's one of the promises that they make specifically, is they clean your car and we do it quickly.
Do it quickly.
And so, again, it's focused on the customer. We've got the calls to action, get your free wash. Now, these are OpSpot customers. And so we've set it up to where, it's very simple for them to put in their phone number, get the free code. And we'll talk through more of that in a different podcast, but that's what's going to happen. And when they click on this, they know what they're going to get. But your customers are more likely to click on this. They'll exchange their phone number for a $20, $25 car wash before they'll join the Unlimited Club. You've got to build trust with them. And everyone in your city is competing for their attention. And every car wash wants them to join the Unlimited Club. So differentiate yourself, get them to your wash, let them experience the best that you have to offer, and build that relationship with them so that they do join your Unlimited Club.
Yeah, it's pretty hard. I've never done it, Josh, where I'm going to just join a club and start giving somebody money on a monthly basis when I haven't experienced the wash. So
Right.
again, we're all about getting people to the wash, experience the wash. But let's say I've been there, I like the wash, we've established relationship and trust, and I'm ready to buy. Then we need to be the first person on their minds. And I do like join the Unlimited club here, because for that person who is ready to buy, we need to make it easy, right? You don't want
Right.
them to think, you want them to see it. And this could be, it's not really a transitional call to action, but it is another call to action here that's easy for a customer without thinking to sign up for the Unlimited, wash club, which is great.
Yeah. And one of the points that you were making earlier that I wanted to touch on really quickly is, if you notice up in this menu here, and you'll notice even in Marvel's old site, they have contact here, they've got fundraising here. These are things that your customers, they will look for. So what we tell people is, let's put as little menu items on the top navigation bar as possible. I like to have no more than 3. Sometimes there's a case that can be made for 4. But you can see we took contact us, we took fundraising off of here, and we put those down at the bottom. Here's contact, here's fundraising, because those are things that your customers will actually look for on your website. We want them to see and easily find the things that, one, make you money, and that your customers probably are not going to burn the calories to try to find.
Well, Josh, that's actually point number 4 here from Don Millen in building a story brand. Here is the number 4th point in building a website is a bite-sized breakdown of your revenue streams,
Yeah.
right? So that actually goes in line with, you know, you do wash cars, but there's also fundraising, there's other events, there's oil changes, there's some other things that are happening at the wash, the dog wash, for instance,
Yeah.
for Marvel. So tell me, what is Don talking about when he talks about a bite-sized breakdown of your revenue streams?
So there may be a lot of different things that you offer, but what is the one thing that you sell that's going to get people in the door? What are you known for? You've got to be known for one thing, and then you can start building a brand for these other things. Marvel Car Wash, they're known for giving a really great customer experience. They promise on delivering happiness to their customers when they go through their wash. But they also, at all of their locations, at least right now, they offer dog washes, and they have these great dog washing areas that are really good. But that's not what people are. That's not what's getting people in the door. But we don't want to not talk about it, and so we added that down here. And we've got a whole section here of your dog should look and feel happy too. So as they're scrolling through this, it's part of the story. It's part of the narrative. But that's not what's getting people in the door. We use Allstate as an example. What does Allstate sell?
Yeah, insurance.
Insurance. And what are the Allstate? Most of the Allstate commercials that you see online are for car insurance, but that's not the only product that Allstate sells. But that's what they're known for.
Yeah, absolutely. If you actually look at OpSpot's landing page, it says membership marketing made simple. We do membership marketing, but in that there's 20, 30 different things that we're doing, but we don't get into the weeds on that. And so it's really about being clear, like, what do we do? And if you think about it, some people may ask, well, how are they going to know about the dog washes, or how are they going to know that we do fundraising, or we have a fleet program, or we're doing oil change? And that's where, whether you're using OpSpot or another service, that what we call a drip campaign, that nurture campaign, is so important. And that's why, for instance, when you do sign up for the free wash, you're going into a nurturing educational campaign, right? That now I have my wash, but guess what? A week later, we're going to say, hey, give us your birthday for, to get specials on your birthday. And maybe 3 weeks later, they're going to get, hey, did you know you can wash your dog for free if you're an unlimited member? Right now, we're educating, we're building trust, we're educating over time, so that when a customer's ready to buy, people don't buy, it's all timing, right? When in sales, it's timing, but you want to be the one in their pocket. You want to be the one that they're thinking of when they're finally ready to say, you know what, I do wash more than one time a month. And because I'm getting these messages from the Better Wash or Marvel or whoever it may be, and I'm being educated, oh, wow, they do fundraising. I didn't know that. I'm a part of this church or school or organization. They've educated me on that. And now that is the car wash that I'm going to use for that particular promotion.
Yeah. If you try to tell your customers everything that you offer, everything that you sell, everything that you do, it's going to be overwhelming, and they're going to check out. So let's get them in. They're looking for a car wash. Let's get them into that. I'll be honest with you. Most of the car washes that we visited, they do recycled water. And so they talk about how they're green and they're doing all these things. Your customers, they probably care, but they don't care so much that they're going to go to your website, and that's going to be what tips them over to go to your car wash instead of the other car wash. Because I guarantee the other car wash is probably doing the same thing. We want to get them in the door. Then we can educate them on all these other offers that you have, but you don't want to do it all at the same time, because then you're shooting at them with a fire hose, and that's just overwhelming, and it really gets confusing.
Well, and that's why we call it a drip, right? You want to drip on them instead of using that fire hose. Right. Drinking from a fire hose is super difficult. And so you don't want to turn that fire hose on them, but we want to drip on them. And over time, again, build relationships, trust, educate them. And even on the local, we talked about this before, Josh, just to educate the customers. This is something that does, as we were doing interviews at JJ's recently, they talked about how JJ's is local, right? They are doing the fundraising and helping out the schools and things like that. But those are great drip messages to let those people who have come and visited know that this is my wash. This is the wash I want to be a part of, because they are giving back to the community. And those are messages you want to do. And even on the website, I think those are great things on the website, but it's not the thing above the fold. They're
Yeah.
things that we're going to help direct people to and educate them. So there is a place for that. It's just not in the very beginning of the website.
Absolutely. One of the things that I want to mention, we've got Team Car Wash here, and this was one of the other ones that launched last week. And design and building websites is hard. And you and I have discussed this because design is subjective. It's usually about people's opinions, what they like, what they don't like. First of all, keep in mind that you're building your website for your customer, not for you. So just because you like it doesn't mean your customer is going to like it. And vice versa. So keep your customers the forefront of the mind. What are our customers going to like? And we talked about the slideshows and moving around. And personally, I like static images like what we did with Marvels better than especially slideshows. I just never do slideshows, but even video. But we did a video on Teams. And the reason why we did a video on Teams is one, it's a part of their branding, it's a part of their messaging. Teams car wash is a full service car wash, but they are an upscale car wash. That is their brand. We are full service upscale car wash. And so we wanted to show not only their premium facilities, they've got great clean facilities, but we wanted to show the fact that when your car comes out of that wash, there's 7 or 8 people that are around there drying it off. And so that was part of the experience. I mean, here's a guy right here shining the tires, see all the different people. We wanted to show that. They have a great videographer on their staff. And so they put together this great video and we were able to use it as the background on theirs. I don't feel like this is appropriate every time. In fact, I'll usually discourage it, but it worked for Team because it's a part of their branding and it sells who they are. Don't put a video on there just to have a video on there, because then you're pulling your customers' eyes away from what you want them to see and read. But on Teams, I do feel like it was important part of their branding.
Well, and you can still see the messaging, right? Get the premium car wash. It's not taking from that. I do like the video. In this case, it's professionally done. It looks good. And it does, again, it tells you what they're about, which is different. And they're trying to be different in the area, right? So this is full service. This is the service that you are going to get. But the calls to action are still very clear. Get your free wash, join the unlimited club they have in the top right, which is, that was on their preference there to be able to take people to unlimited club. So yeah. Again, you're building the sites. We're also taking the, of course, opinion of our customers, because that's what we do. Ultimately, it's up to them. But we definitely want to make sure that we are implementing these things that Don is talking about, because it makes sense and they're proven. So speaking of that, Josh, let's finish this up here. We have the fifth point here is very few words is the fifth. So people are not reading these days. I don't know when they've ever been reading, but what are people doing? What are we used to? And then how do we get them to read from websites? Yeah.
So it used to be that we would build websites like newspapers, and we would put all the information that we could on there. And then we got a little better and we started building them like brochures. And there's still probably way too much information on it. Now people just scan websites. Again, we got to let them know within 10 seconds, really less than that. It's probably closer to 7 of who we are, what do we want them to do, and what's in it for them. And so we can't use a lot of words to do that. People need to, we use headlines. Your car wash experience should make you happy. They're probably not going to read the second part, but we want to make sure the copy is strong if they do. Save time, stay clean, live happy. This is all scannable. Cleanliness creates happiness. And then we've got just a short paragraph under that. And then we've got these bullets. Most people are probably not going to read this. They might read that. They're probably not going to read this, but they are going to scan these bullets. And so these bullets are what's in it for you. Here's what you can expect from us. Here's the service that you're going to get, and here's some of the amenities and the benefits that you're going to have. And again, the menus, and you and I are going to do a podcast just on menu boards, but we've done with our menus on the websites what we want to do with menu boards with our customers is make them easy to read, simple to follow. So we don't have a whole bunch of icons. We don't have a bunch of different colors and all this stuff on it, because that, again, throws the eyes of our customer off. We want it to be scannable. We want it to be readable. Then we've got our 3-step plan here. And this is all stuff that's built into the StoryBrand framework.
Josh, real quick, because people not everyone's going to be watching this, but notice as Josh is scrolling down the website, go up a little bit, Josh, there's constantly that call to action, get your free wash, right? Whether it's sign up for unlimited or get your free wash, as people are looking through a site, when they are ready, don't make them go back to the top. Don't make them click on another page. have that available, just like the sign up now, of course, and unlimited. But for those of you who aren't able to see this throughout scrolling, right? And a lot of people scroll a few times with their thumb, on their phone, on their website, boom, get your free wash, get your free wash. We talked about the dog wash and that it's included with unlimited, and then boom, it says, get your unlimited wash.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's really important. That's usually the first thing that I hear back from people is, man, you've got that call to action too many times. And I'm like, no, it's probably not enough. We want to make it simple. And again, we want to make it very clear. The second question that your customer is asking is, what action do you want me to take? Let's tell them the action that we want them to take. So this is a button that makes you money. Get your free car wash is a button that makes you money, because it's going to get them to your wash and experience the best that you have to offer. And so we want to make sure it's down throughout the page. We don't want to put it on there once. We don't want to put it on there just twice. We want it to be on there probably at least 4 times on your homepage. And so, yeah, that's a really good point. I'll be honest with you. The copy, this last point that we're talking about, the words, this is the hardest part. Mark Twain said, I wrote a long letter because I didn't have time to write a short letter. It is hard to use less words. We want to put everything on there. And this goes back, and I'll tell this story very quickly because I know that we're running long here, but Steve Jobs was basically exiled at Apple when he tried to sell the Lisa computer. And he pulled out a 9-page ad in the New York Times to sell the Lisa computer. And he sold 9 of them. It was a flop. Worst thing that Apple has ever done. Steve Jobs got exiled to a room by himself, a building by himself, until he finally just quit. He went over to Pixar. He learned how to use words. Now, that 9-page ad was just full of geek speak. I mean, it was just all about the things that the Lisa computer has in it, what kind of chips it has, the hard drive, all the stuff that most customers didn't know what they were. It was gibberish to them. It made sense to Steve Jobs, but it didn't make any sense to their Apple customers. He came back. He went to Pixar. He came back to Apple. He changed the branding of Apple, and he went from a 9-page ad in the New York Times to sell a Lisa computer to 2 words: think different. And Apple blew up, became the most powerful company in the world because of 2 words: think different. That's what we have to do. We have to give our customers less to think about. And there's a whole lot around that think different thing that we could go into that we don't have time to today. But he went from a 9-page ad to 2 words, and it made all the difference for the company.
Well, and there's a place for these words, Josh. For instance, if we want to talk about fundraising, right? We're not on the main homepage. We're not explaining the fundraising and how it works, but there absolutely will be, in the kind of junk drawer area, there's fundraising. Through the drip campaign, we're going to get people to the fundraising. And once you land there, right, now people want to read. If they're interested in fundraising, you want to give them the details. If they're interested in ceramic X, which we still don't know what that is, put that on your webpage where people can read about what that is, and that's fine. But there's a place for that on another page. It just shouldn't be here, where the initial experience that a customer has shouldn't be having to read through a bunch of stuff, because they're not going to. Okay.
I mean,
but
honestly, our goal when we build websites, when we write websites and design these things, our goal is to not have to get any further than what you see right here, which is this banner image before they ever have to start scrolling. Our goal is they never have to scroll before they want to do business with you. They should see enough right here on this screen to get them to want to show up at your car wash. Once they start scrolling and they start diving into these other pages and stuff like that, they're just interested. They're researching and doing some stuff, but they've already made up their mind whether they're going to show up or not. And so it doesn't need to be on your homepage. When they start clicking on buttons and doing all of that, they've made up their mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And real quick, I want you to just touch on that manage my plan page real fast, because a lot of customers, not a lot, but I have heard the argument that, hey, we want to make it easy, which I completely agree, for a customer to cancel their plan. I wouldn't make that my call to action, because it's not making you money. It's actually going to end up losing you money. But I love that you have access to it here. As you can see here, when you click on manage my plan, you can see the options. What would you like to do? Upgrade or downgrade, update my credit card, in my plan, and add another vehicle. Those are 4 easy decisions that a customer can make. And if I did want to end my plan, I would click there, choose a location, and I'm off to the races. And we've made it very simple for a customer to cancel a plan, or again, upgrade, downgrade, whatnot. But this is a very easy, centralized place that your staff, anyone online can see that this is how somebody manages their plan through this page right here. So anyway, Josh, one last question here on optimization, and get into the analytics just for a second on these web pages. I want you to be able to show some of the back end here of what tracking and these opt-in pages, and obviously where people are coming from. Is it a desktop or mobile phone? Because I think having it mobile optimized these days, of course, is extremely important. So what do you get with the websites with OpSpot?
So we build all of these websites on our platform. So we host them and we build them on our platform. It's a drag and drop platform. It comes with its own analytics. We also connect them to Google Analytics as well. But as you can see here, this is the Better Wash's backend. We've had this live for just a few days, and already 77% of their visitors are going to their website from a mobile phone, which immediately tells us that this website needs to be built with mobile in mind first. So your customers are going to it on a mobile phone. That means the opt-in also needs to be simple with a mobile device as well. But one of the great things about this, and this is the only platform that I know of that has website building and funnels and everything built into it. And so we can look at these funnels. This is the opt-in funnel for the Better Wash. And we've set this one up a little bit differently than we did with Marvel. But we can see, 123 people have gone to that opt-in page. They've clicked on that button, and 105 have actually submitted the form. They've put in their phone number and submitted the form to get the free wash. If you go to Marvel, though, we did a little bit different, and we'll dive into this on a different podcast episode. So I won't tell you what we were doing different, but we're testing out 2 different forms because we had a discussion on which one is better. And in marketing, you have to test everything that you can test. It's what you think is going to work isn't what always works, and what works isn't always what you think is going to work. And so, with Marvel, we had 2 different forms to figure out what were customers going to fill out. And so we were able to test. We have an A test and a B test. And so A is one form, B is a different form. When they fill out A, they're going to be sent to this page right here. When they fill out B, they're going to be sent to this one. So we can see that 17 people clicked on A, and then only 5 of them actually did it. 21 clicked on B or were sent to B, the B form, and 12 of them actually filled it out. So right now, B is winning. Now, because we just launched this a few days ago, our analytics are going to need to really, we want to test this out for a while. So we actually have 5,000 entries that are going to be tested on this. So we're waiting to get 5,000. So these numbers have a long way to go. But at the end of the day, we're going to be able to make better decisions on what actually works, because marketing can't be gut feeling, even though most of our marketing is gut feeling. What we do at OpSpot and what we've built our whole brand around is actually giving you measurable results, and not just saying, well, we think this is what works and this is what works and this is where you should spend your money. We actually want to know where you should spend your money so that you get the best investment.
Well, it's awesome, Josh, and I appreciate you bringing this to the table with OpSpot. Josh is one of the partners there with Brand Pros. You could see the branding there of his company that OpSpot, of course, is able to utilize. So I appreciate that, Josh, and having that drag and drop and having our customers actually be able to go into the back end, make some changes. It's really simple to do, and then track those analytics of where people are coming from, what words are they searching. And what we're finding now is, of course, you're on your phone, you're searching car wash in my area, and then directions and some things that we want to help answer those questions that people are going there for in the first place. But again, having that call to action. So if I search and saw 2 or 3 different car washes, I know that this one's going to make me happy. I'm going to get a free wash. I'm going with them. And then we're going to, again, be able to track the opt-ins, redemptions, conversions. All of that's going to be tracked, which is pretty cool. So just finally, Josh, as we wrap up here, we are doing the websites, OpSpot is. So I'm going to throw out some pricing right now that we're doing, and then how they can get started. So you guys can go to opspot.com and you can get signed up. We have a call to action there for building websites. And you could probably show that if you wanted to, but it's $49.99 to have a website built. And then it is $149 a month for us to host that, which gives you the ability, of course, to go in and do some of your edits, things like that. So we would love for you at any time. You can go to the services there, go to the websites, and you can see, get a website that works for you. You can schedule a call. We'll do a review with you, check out your website, and we'd love to work with you on your website. But even if you don't use OpSpot, we hope that this has been extremely beneficial to you. Josh, at some point, I'd love to do some live events like this where we're actually taking some Q&A from customers, analyzing their websites, giving them pointers or tips on how they could even do better on their own website, especially if we're not going to be the ones that are building them and whatnot. You just did that on Talk Car Wash the other day.
Yeah.
A customer had thrown it out. Hey, here's my new site. What do you think? And I mean, you took the time, went through and gave them a lot of really good tips and pointers. And so again, we're excited to be in the space. We're excited to be doing the websites now because it's all about that messaging and copy. So Josh, great job on those websites. And so again, if you guys have any questions for us, feel free to reach out to us directly and we'd love to help you out.
Yeah, I would say the number one thing, if you get from this podcast, the number one thing to remember is your words that you use are the most important part of your website. That's where you need to spend your investment, is getting the right words and make them about your customer, not about your wash.
Awesome. All right. Well, again, thanks everyone for listening and for watching. This has been a great episode. I've had a lot of fun doing this and I've learned a lot from Josh. So Josh, again, appreciate you coming on board. And until next time.
Hey, cheers.
Cheers. All right. See you.